3, 2, 1, roll the footage. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Simon Severino. What if you could hang out with sprinters and ask them what they are doing, what they are learning, and how you can learn from that? That's what we do every day here at the Strategy Sprints podcast. And today we explore with the co-founder of WebinarNinja how to scale with webinars, how to take care of your team, why the people you surround yourself with make a difference, and how to become a great place to work. Welcome, everybody, Nicole Baldinu.
Oh, wow. Hi. Hi, Simon. How are you?
Excited. Australia and Austria come together today. And,
opposite sides of the world, right?
Yes. And we have both Italian roots, which is also exciting. But tell us, what are you currently creating?
Well, I'm still working on WebinarNinja. We've been at it since 2014, since we launched. So that is something that's still very much something that we're passionate about, that we love and that we commit to and work on every day. We've also got the $100 MBA podcast that I produce with my co-founder, my husband, Omar Zenhom. He's the host of the show. So those are the two things that kind of, keep me busy every day.
Cool. And I just had today a call with somebody telling me, Simon, you do everything online and all the time in communities, etc. But in my business, we need the personal contact. It doesn't work online. So do you hear that in regarding to webinars?
That's a good question. I hear it less. I mean, I feel that people are accustomed to webinars and, this kind of interaction and engagement with an audience. And I think when it's a live webinar, it's really the closest thing to an in-person event. And, with all the kind of engagement features that a webinar platform can have, then you do kind of replicate that live experience where there's back and forth, there's questions, there's that engagement that kind of makes the experience a lot more dynamic than, say, watching a recorded video.
Yeah, let's go there, because some webinars are like, you come in there, then there is 45 minutes pitch, and then it's over. And then we go, okay, that's my webinar experience. I don't go to webinars anymore. So what's a good webinar experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is, what people are most kind of afraid of when they are new to webinars. I do feel they feel like, I want to make the experience engaging. I don't want my audience or the people watching to, fall asleep. And they want that back and forth. And it's not necessarily that they have to see them. I think that's the interesting thing where, you have a difference with like a meeting software or a conference where everyone is actually, they're seeing each other. You can get that engagement and you can get that back and forth, but it is really up to the host to be able to elicit. So, it's how you present, how you, format your presentation so that you do make time to ask questions. You do make time to stop and pause in that pitch or in that, there's a lot of value being given, but, there's moments where you can actually pause and you can take questions. You can, ask for people to comment in the chat. You can, run polls. It's obviously up to the host to do that. And I think if they're aware of that, wanting to make it more engaging, I think they definitely can. And we do see it, we see it every day.
What are some cool webinar formats that you have seen in terms of length or in terms of flow or something that they did specifically interesting?
I think when you have moments where you focus on the audience, so you can say have a hot seat session, so like a kind of a coaching, or like a live coaching where there's people there that are, they've come to learn, they've got a topic that the host is, I'm going to be teaching on and sharing. They're there for that content, but then when there's people in on the webinar who are actually willing to come on and say be coached live. So Omar will do that, for example, with our members. He'll actually demonstrate, bring someone up on camera, go through some of like a real question that they're asking, and kind of do a little mini coaching session with them on the actual webinar. And that's kind of cool for everybody else to see, because they get to see that in action as well. It's kind of a little bit meta, right? Because they might be then wanting to do their own webinar, and they actually watch Omar doing that kind of approach and coaching someone. So then they're like, okay, cool, I can do that too. So definitely bringing people on, Q&A. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. There's so many different those are the first thing that kind of comes to mind.
What the ratio between people who register for a webinar and people who attend in our world and around us, it's a high number. It's a high gap. So just a few come to the event, and most people hope that they get the replay. What's your experience there?
I mean, I think if you get anything more than like 35%, that's great. There's a lot of factors too. Say the timing. If it is a live webinar, then maybe the time, that's the beautiful thing, right? You can reach everyone around the world. And that's the great thing about being able to scale your message and your offerings, because you can reach so many people. But then we encounter, of course, time zones. And then we realize, okay, it's going to be midnight for, so-and-so in that part of the world. So you'll run into that, but people are still interested, so they still will register and they will watch the replay. So I don't think it's necessary, you have to see that it might not be a convenient time. That doesn't mean they're not interested in your content. So, there is always going to be that gap. But it's not necessarily a reflection on you, because there's just so many factors of, something comes up during the day, there's a sudden emergency, whatever. So there will be those contributing factors. So, there's never going to be 100%, attendance from registration. That's just, no, it's not going to happen. But a lot of people actually who don't, one of the things that is we're seeing is not offering a replay. And by not offering the replay, it does increase and boost those live attendees as well. So that's a little trick if you want to kind of maybe see if there's a difference.
Yes. And what's the frequency that is a good frequency? How often do you offer webinars?
Right. So we'll do our members webinar. So there'll be the webinar that we offer to just our community. So our members who are currently WebinarNinja users, we'll do those once a month. So that's a good frequency, because there'll be enough time for a new blog post to be published, a new guide to be published, and maybe a new feature to be released. So Omar can go through all those things on that webinar. Sales demo type webinars can be done as often as once a week. We were doing them twice a week. You obviously need to have time to build up your registrant list, of course. So, if you do leave a little bit more time and collect more leads and, get more people to sign up, then yeah, you may want to not do them as frequently. But obviously, it can vary. But once a week is good, twice a month, once a month, depending on the type of webinar.
Another CEO tip that you have brought us is, in these times, it's good that we stay close to our team and we take care of them. I'm super curious how we can do that after one word from our sponsors.
Hey, if you like the tools, go grab them for free at strategysprints.com/tools.
So what can we do to take care of our team members?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm really passionate about this topic, especially because we've had to make a very conscious effort to look after our team and be more proactive, because we're remote. We don't actually see each other, in a physical office, and we've been a remote distributed team since day one. So we really have to make that effort to communicate with our team and to be in touch with them and to make sure that there is daily communication. I think often there's the danger of, the risk of just like, I've hired someone who's capable of doing the job. Maybe they just want to be left alone. They want to do it. The days and weeks can pass and there might not be any, real communication that takes place, or, And so we've really made it a point to make sure that we, connect on a daily basis, whether it's on our tools with like Basecamp and kind of project management tools or Slack and different communication tools like that. But recently, we've actually only just started this for the last, I want to say 2 weeks. We've started co-working virtually. And so, because our support team is kind of, working 24/7. We've got teammates all around the world. So there's always going to be somebody on. And we just thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could just, co-work just together? And we do that. And so it's really cool because during the day, you'll be on and there'll be different people on throughout the office, coming into the virtual office. And it's been a really nice experience. It's been a really nice way to talk more than just about work, because you actually do get that office banter, those kind of conversations that would happen naturally if you are in person, versus just like, communicating for the purposes of whether it's a task or just, work-related conversation.
And how do you do it technically?
We're using Google Meet right now.
Google Meet. Okay, let's have 3 hours Google Meet. It's this time, everybody works in and we see each other.
Well, we've basically set up a link and then people just join in. They just sign in when they're on shift, or when they're coming into work, or if they want to talk to someone, if they've got a question. And so throughout different times during the day, I'll see different people depending on when they've started. It's been really cool. It's been a really cool experience.
Nice. And also you say that it's crucial to pick the people we surround ourselves with, because that makes a difference. Can you unpack that?
Well, I mean, in terms of like your team, you definitely want to be picking people that you actually want to hang out with every day. So, you spend so many hours working, and that's a great thing, especially as a founder, as a co-founder. I'm just, I love the work that I do, but I also like doing it with great people. I like doing it with fun people that I enjoy their company. So I feel that in the hiring process, and that's, I guess, when culture comes into it, when you are hiring someone, you do kind of ask yourself, like, do I want to hang out with this person every day? And if the answer is yes, then there's a good chance they're a good fit culturally. And, obviously they've got to match the skills that you need. But I think that's one of the key elements when you're bringing someone on board is, do I actually want to hang out with this person every day? And if the answer is yes, then it's great. You're surrounded by yourself with, people that you really enjoy being with.
Cool. How many people had you, have you been, did you got onto your last webinar?
Oh, I'm just thinking, I ran a members webinar. There were about like 60 people, I would say. Just trying to think. Before that, he ran a 3-day coaching challenge. I think there would have been about 90, 100 people.
90, 100
people.
It's
not 1,000. It's not thousands, but it's still a great turnout.
Yeah. And how do you get 90 people into one session? How many channels do you have to work through?
So we would definitely do a lot of content marketing. So, a lot of blogs and guides that people can opt into. Believe they're running, I'm not so super close with, the marketing side of things. I know we've run Facebook ads, Google ads, a lot of email marketing.
So it takes 4 channels to fill it, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. There's at least.
And do you remember the first webinar? So what would you say to somebody who says, "Okay, I'm just starting this. I'm a little bit worried. I will not have enough people." What should they do when they start?
I mean, we had, I think, 2 people, 3 people. I think it was literally, I remember because it was, we were actually trying to get members to the $100 MBA, our video training and community. And we were just trying to, run webinars to get them into that membership. And the very, very first webinar, there were literally, I think, 2 or 3 people. And I remember that day, because I'm not on the webinar, I'm not the face of the webinars. I don't conduct the webinars. I'm usually in the chat. I'm answering questions. I'm helping out, that way. But I just remember Omar running that webinar just as though there were, 30, 40 people. It didn't matter because he still gave the same. And I think that's the point. It doesn't really matter how many people especially those first webinars, you really do have to get, practice, and you have to get your reps in. And so I just think it's okay. Everybody has those, webinars that, especially the first ones, that nobody shows up to, or very few people show up to. I won't say nobody, very few people show up to. And just running it, with that positivity and just seeing it as another experience is I think, the better mindset to have in that situation.
And still talking, great place to work. So the people, we want to care for them, we want to be there, and we want even to become a great place to work. What can we do to be a better place to work?
I think, you can do as big things as, like, we ran our first team retreat, that was in 2018 when we could all travel. That was our very first time we did that. And we brought the team together in Bali, and it was, as many people that could come from the team. And that was like the biggest thing we had done. And that's amazing, and it was such an awesome experience, and we can't wait to repeat that. That's kind of like an extreme thing to do. But as I said, like, there are very small things, just the fact that you connect with your team every day and you actually take time, because we're all busy as CEOs, COOs, whatever we're doing, we've got a million things to do. But I've learned that I enjoy taking time to talk to my team, and finding those ways, like I said, on chat, sharing a joke, getting into the virtual, co-working with them as I'm doing my own work. I feel that builds the connection. I feel that builds the rapport that we need to collectively help our customers, to collectively work together to build and serve our customers. So, and we do things like an all hands, where once a month we all get together. And, in the beginning, I remember when we did our first all hands, it would be more updates and sharing. It would be a lot of talking, maybe from department heads or Omar, doing a lot of the talking, and that's important. But we've slowly integrated games and just icebreakers and, really simple things that have actually been a lot of fun to do. And we just make a point every time we get together to always do an activity that's fun. So just being mindful that, that everybody wants to have joy and fun in their day. We're all here to work, sure, but we remember that as well,
Yeah, I'm curious what kind of games we start now every meeting with client wins or team wins, depending on which meeting it is. But starting with the magic moments, and we collect them and we write them down and we cheer each other on. And we have a feedback sequence. We call it Angel, Devil, Jolly Joker, where whoever reports from their projects, they have to pick 3 people. Angel, Devil, and Jolly Joker, and they will give feedback. The Angel will give the positive feedback, and the Jolly Joker will find what's not working, and Joker can do whatever she wants.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a fun game. So I'm curious, what kind of games did you come up with?
So we've done everything from, like, they'll take a little bit of preparation. So we did the baby photo. So everybody had to send their baby photo to our, and we had to guess. And that was actually really fun. It was cute. It was sweet. We got a lot of laughs out of that. We did one where we all had to send in a fun fact, like a weird kind of fun trivia kind of piece. And we just went around and just one person had to guess who they thought that fact was about. Yeah, it was really cool. It was like, who is it? Most recently we did, I think it's called a rebus. So it's a puzzle where, like, the words are scrambled. And we just had a series, we put them on a slide deck, and then we put everyone into breakout rooms. So this was really cool too, because normally, like, we're all in one room, but by breaking them out into groups of 3 and 4, they got to work on this, like, word puzzles, and they had to send in their answers. And they also got to connect with, different people on the team they normally wouldn't work with. So yeah, word puzzles, photos, trivia, those are kind of the ones that come to mind. There's so many if you Google, right?
Sure. And when I hear, yeah, in my world it doesn't work to do this online, I sometimes think, yeah, it needs more preparation. It needs more creativity. It needs, of course, you have to enrich the situation and create many angles to go deeper. But it can work, I think.
Yeah.
And you can pick now one person for a strategy award. When everybody is zigging, this person is zagging. But from your perspective, they're doing the right thing. Who do you pick?
It's not it's not a person, it's a company, but the two co-founders are Chris Savage and Brendan Schwartz from Wistia. I don't know if you know the video hosting company. I've just always admired them. I love their brand, I love their story, and I guess as a tech company as well, they're doing things very differently. So Chris, I remember, shared the story at MicroConf in 2018, how they raised over $17 million in debt to buy back their company from their investors so that they could regain kind of control and do things the way they wanted to do things. And that kind of is, as a tech company, you're constantly, you're in that space of like growth at all costs, funding, venture back, all of this in that kind of world that just, is what you hear all the time. And they've just gone and done, a very different, radically different thing so that they could continue to do what they love, which is, create great content and grow at their own pace. And I really resonate with that. In the WebinarNinja, we really resonate with that because we are very driven by creating good content and teaching people rather than, really overly selling. It's really driven by the content as, and teaching as a kind of principal ethos. And I resonate with Wistia for doing that, for just saying, yeah, we want to grow, we want to be profitable, and we will be, but we're just going to do it on our terms. So I thought that was a really cool story.
Powerful. And what are 3 books that touched you most?
There's a lot of books. Recently, I picked up a book that is maybe an unknown. He's a guy out of New Zealand. His name's Sean D'Souza. A book called The Brain Audit. I don't know if you know it.
No.
Yeah, it's a great book that I guess is just a reminder of the fundamentals and a little bit of the psychology of selling and marketing. So I definitely recommend The Brain Audit. It's a great one. I think it's a book that has really stayed with me, and you probably read it, is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, the story of Nike. I mean, a lot of people have read that, but that story just reminds you of just how hard business is, and a company even like as big as Nike, what he's had to endure, and the people around him and the team he had. I think what resonated with me from that book was how close he was to his core team and how fundamental they were to the building and creating the company that it is. So that's another book. Recently, I actually read a book that I had always wanted to read, and that's kind of impacted my routine, and that's The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And that's just a great reminder of some of the, he didn't invent meditation, he didn't invent, the morning routine, but his story is so powerful in the way he shares, his experience, and a great way that you can actually start your day by doing these certain things is profound. It really is life-changing. So those are the 3 books that come to mind.
Beautiful. And do you start your morning that way now?
I do, yeah. 4:30, 5 a.m. Once you get used to it, it's like it's crazy. I never, and people in the book, he says, like, people say, oh, I could never get up that early. And I think I was one of those people. And then as soon as you do, it's like, oh, this is magical. Like, I cannot get up later than that. It's a great habit. It's a great habit.
Beautiful. And where can people find you and WebinarNinja if they want more?
So they can go to WebinarNinja.com. They can, sign up for, they can attend one of our webinars, of course. I'm on Twitter, Nicole Baldinu on Twitter, or on Instagram as well, Webinar Ninja, and myself, Nicole Baldinu. And of course, if there's anyone who wants more podcasts, we've got the $100 MBA Show as well.
$100 MBA Show, everybody. And so in terms of Webinar Ninja, who should book your offerings to solve which problem? Is it they learn how to do webinars, or for which problem should they come to you?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a ton of resources for learning the A to Z of actually how to put together a webinar, how to run a webinar. We've got a video course, there's blog posts, and we've got a support team that, of course, will help as well 24/7. But, in terms of actually wanting to deliver your offering, whether it's to actually sell your product online, to market your product online, to teach people, to nurture your community, all of these are use cases for running webinars.
Thank you so much. Nicole Baldinu, everybody. And thank you, Nicole, for being here, sharing your journey, your wisdom with us. Please come back soon.
Thank you, Simon.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint coach. We double your revenue in 90 days.